my crafty friends. I am here with a video for Pretty My Page using these 3 new cut files that make gift boxes. I'm using them for Easter treats, but really they could be used for anything. First bit of the video is in real time, showing the assembly of the boxes. This one is called the treat box, and I'm going to say it's very simple to put together. Your machine will cut the outside of the box and cut dashed lines for the folds. What you need to do is fold along all of the dashed lines and make sure you get a nice crease. The better your crease is, the better the box will look finished. The diagonal lines can be a little bit tricky, but perseverance and yes, just perseverance really. Now for this box you're going to need adhesive on 2 flaps. I'm using super sticky double-sided tape. You could use wet glue. Quick dry would be much better, so you're not sat there holding it, waiting for it to dry. I've decided that taking one piece off at a time is easier in some ways, in that if you don't get your placing exactly right, you can unstick it and replace it in the right place. However, it's hard to get the backing off the other pieces, as I found out. Again, perseverance. Now the bottom doesn't need any adhesive, just folds in, so one flap, then the side flaps, and then the other bottom flap that has the tab just slots in. Just adhering the top part of the side, and then you'll see that the top of the box folds over and there's a little tab that fits into the slot and holds it shut. In go my Easter eggs. And that is the first box, treat box, finished. Simple. Moving on to the pleated box. This one possibly might be a bit more tricky. I don't think it's a difficult one. Again, your machine will cut the outside and then we'll cut dashed lines for the fold lines. You need to fold along all of the dashed lines. One thing to note is that these lines aren't straight across the whole of the box. It's got 3 panels and the lines are at slightly different angles. So don't try and just fold as one line, fold each individual line. This one goes together with no adhesive. It all just folds and links up at the top, and then when it opens it kind of not explodes, it's a bit violent. It opens out, fans out, which is quite fun. Again, the diagonal lines are probably the trickiest part to fold, but just making sure that they're folded right down to the bottom of the line and have a good crease is key. So this one, it's the 2 side flaps first, and then this little hook slots into the tab and holds it all together. And that's the pleated box. This one is the dodeca what's it box. When I was designing it, I thought it was going to be a dodecahedron, but I'm pretty sure it's not. So same drill, fold along all of the lines This one looks a lot more complicated. It's not a lot more complicated, it's a little bit trickier. Of course, these nets come as SVG or silhouette files, so you can scale them and cut them at any size you wish. I've cut these on American Crafts cardstock. It's not super heavyweight. I've cut them on super heavyweight card and I find them a little bit more difficult, if I'm honest. So thin card is probably your best bet, but play around and see what you find best for you. Now, this dodeca What's-It box has got diagonal folds as well. Now, these folds are really important to get creased right from the top of the line to the bottom of the line. If you don't have them folded all the way, it doesn't give you as clean a finish at the end. Ask me how I know. And yet these folds are a bit tricky, but patience and remembering how important they are to get scored is key. These cut files will be available from Pretty My Page as downloads, and when they reopen for pre-cuts, which will be COVID-19 dependent, when they reopen they will be available as pre-cuts as well. So you can see this one is a little bit more time consuming with the folding, but we get there. Now we're ready to start sticking. We need to add adhesive to the 3 side tabs. Again, I'm using super sticky double-sided tape, which I find is the best thing to use because it is super sticky. Now these 2 arms at the top with the holes, and then there's 2 arms at the bottom without holes. You want to add adhesive to the tabs on the 2 arms without holes, and that will create the bottom of the box. We're going to stick the 2 sides together using those 3 tabs, lining them up as exactly as we can. Now we're going to move on to forming the bottom of the box. All of the diagonal lines that we've scored and folded will fold inwards. You want to make sure that you're creating almost like a Swiss cross shape. And it doesn't matter which arm you take over first. either one, take off the tape backing and slot it into the slit that your machine created. It's a little bit tricky to get it slotted in past the tape. Once it's in place, push from the inside and make sure that that's sealed. Repeat again for the second arm. It's the same process at the top of the box, but you don't want to add adhesive to these tabs, as this is how you access what's inside the box. The two holes are for a ribbon loop handle so that your box can be hung. I have plans to make some and use them as Christmas baubles hanging on a tree. You need to add the loop of ribbon after you've added the contents of the box, but before you fold either of the arms over. We'll get to that bit later on in the video. So here are the 3 boxes finished. I'm now going to decorate them and make some bunting to go with them. So I'm using the outer shape from the Easter banner cut file, which you can get from Pretty My Page. I've adapted it. I wanted it small. My original plan was to have a string of bunting on each of the boxes, but I got my scaling completely wrong and they're far too big for that. So I'm going to make place settings for the table. So these banners, bunting, will dress the plates. I'm using a stamp set from Sticker Kitten, which is a stitched alpha, and I'm just stamping up 3 sets of bunting. I released the compound path in my Silhouette software and deleted the holes that you would use to string the banner together and the wording Happy Easter, as going this small it just wouldn't have worked. I've whizzed them through my sewing machine to hold them together, and I'm adding a few sparkly sequin hearts. Sorting through some Project Life cards from my quirky kit, and I'm going to make some tags and also decorate 2 of the boxes with patterned paper panels. The treat box file comes with a tag cut file. I hadn't made it at this point, and I made my own, and I immediately thought, why don't we have a file for this as well? Because all of my diagonal lines here, well, none of them are the same. Then I'm going to punch some holes in the top with my great big hole punch, add sticker reinforcers, and I've got some nice colourful ones. I'm then going to add a sentiment sticker to each one, and then a few more sequins. Now I'm going to pack up each box. I'm going to put a little bit of crinkly paper in the bottom and then nestle the eggs on top. You've seen my little secret here. Don't tell Dad that he's got one less than me and Mum. And crinkly paper is fun for my whole family. As you'll see in a minute, my little budgie comes on to the desk and has a good old chew. She loves crinkly paper. Next, for the handle, for the Dodeca What's It box, we need to tie a knot in the bottom of a loop of ribbon. knot needs to be big enough that it doesn't pull straight through the hole. And we need to thread the handle through from the underside of one of the arms. Bring that arm over and tuck the tab into the slot. Then thread the loop through on the underside of the second arm and fold that tab over and through the slot. Doesn't matter which way round, there's no one arm needs to go first, either way is fine. I have then cut some patterned paper panels to decorate the front of the two flatter boxes, and I'm just adding the initials on there. And pretty much the final step for the project is to add some ribbon through the tags and tie each tag to the box, and there you have your Easter treat boxes. So there we go. Thank you for watching. I hope you're inspired to make some treat boxes. Let me know what you're putting inside your treat boxes. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!